Okie dokie, this is a game called Order the Gatekeepers. It's a tower defense game, that's kind of my kick recently. And surprisingly, I've never heard of this one. It only has like 30 reviews on it in the Steam store, and it came out 3 years ago. Maybe because I have MOBAs hidden in my feed, that's probably why I haven't seen it. But it is tower defense mixed with MOBA elements. Now, this first like 2 or 3 minutes of this video is just gonna be me describing stuff. So I'm going to go into the map here. I'm not gonna play right away, I'm just going to explain things. So, if you want to skip this section, I do have it timestamped down below, or if you just mouse over the video scroll bar, it'll show the next section. I'm gonna call it map 1. But there's a lot of explaining I need to do because this game is pretty complicated, actually. Well, I guess it's not too complicated, but there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and unpack this game. It's a tower defense. First and foremost, it's a tower defense. To get your towers, you right-click anywhere on the field, and you get to select your faction. At the start, you can only choose 2 factions. As you progress throughout the map, you will unlock the ability to use more factions. So for example, let's go into the ice type towers, because it's my favorite, and you get a penguin mech. You can take this little penguin mech, and you place it anywhere you want, as on these green squares here. And just a side note, you can see the enemy path by holding shift. Okay, so there's a few things on the mech itself. We have its damage value, its raw damage value. It has DPS and a whole bunch of stats for you to look at. So if you're a stats junkie, this is perfect for you. Then you have your crit chance multiplier. You have your cooldown reduction and buffing length and all that. You have how much this tower can sell for. You have the element of this tower. And there is a giant rock, paper, scissors, you know, a la Pokemon style, of different enemy typings and how much damage this will do to those typings. There is a enemy typing called challenge. As far as I know, you don't really lose health when you get the challenge enemies get to the end. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different enemy typings. And then there's also mana regeneration, base mana regen, bonus mana regen, mana cost reduction, and cast range bonus. So there is a whole host of different things towers are capable of just based on that little description there. But not only that, we mentioned a MOBA aspect. There is 6 slots and a shop. And your tower also has levels. The higher level it gets, the more bonuses it'll gain in terms of attack speed, and other such nonsense. Now you have all different kinds of items, for example the bandolier. If you click on the bandolier, you can see the upgraded version of the bandolier. You can immediately purchase these and it'll do all the combining for you. Otherwise you'd buy the bandolier and then you could buy something else and then you can combine them later. But any of these items you click on, you can just immediately look at it and just go, oh, you know, I can just upgrade this right away. But yeah, there you go. There's all kinds of different items to look at. I won't take the time to go over them all because there is a bunch of items in this game, as you can see through this list here. And then there's a bunch of combinations that go along with said items. So it's a very big, complicated list. And then as far as the towers go as well, if you look at the different factions of towers, there are multiple in each one. There's 5 for each faction. So this game has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully I counted that right. Yeah, 9. So there are 45 different towers you can have. I'm not really going to go over them all. I'm just going to try to use some towers I think are interesting and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, a whole bunch of towers, and there are references to other games in here, like this cardboard box. It's, you know, Snake, and then the whole tower is based around the funny concept of Snake being in a box tranking enemies repeatedly. So So yeah, there's just a whole bunch of different towers you can play with. And there's also your units have abilities and stuff like that. So let's take a darkness tower here. Let's do this black hole. Okay, so what's a black hole do? A black hole gains damage for each enemy that dies near it at the cost of some mana. That's this ability right here. When toggled on, all nearby deaths provide this tower with bonus damage, as noted in the tooltip, at the cost of some mana. Mana cost is multiplied by the damage number for each enemy type. Now, you can, if you don't want this ability to cast, let's say you want it to cast Reduction instead. When toggled on, attacks by this tower deal either a percentage of the target's current health as damage, or a multiplier of current damage by insatiable mass. So that's just a whole bunch of doesn't make sense. But the main takeaway from that is you can toggle the ability off by right-clicking. So, toggle on, toggle off. That's just how you do that. You can't toggle passives. Passives are always on. And then we'll go ahead and put a slowing tower here. And it wants us to buy an item. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy an item here. Let's just buy a sword for now, that'll upgrade. And then we'll upgrade it into a celestial axe later. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually start the game now. That took a little longer than I thought. Okay, so if you're now just joining me after we skipped the describing of the game, just know it was pretty involved, and hopefully I did a good job explaining it. And there's a whole, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different towers that you'll get throughout the thing. And if you did skip the intro, just be aware we only have 2 tower types, because we have to use this resource to unlock the tower faction. And this game is online co-op available. I have double speed enabled, so I will press that. I'm just going to do a little bit more talking here while the game progresses. But as we can see, this thing is doing its job. Now, this tower has 0.35 regen, and this ability costs a fair amount. Let's go to combinations here. Every death near this tower provides it with some mana. So if we use this, and an enemy, let's wait for it to die. There we go. As we see, it's starting to gain back some of that mana. You can see down here. And then we can have something called Energy Saver, which will make it save mana on using that. So there's a lot of ways to cheat mana, which is very, very useful. Like for example, this item has a ability to make your thing double cast, I believe. Okay, so what else do we have? So of the 2 tower types I'm going to be using for this one, we'll just go over those real quick. We have a glacial artifact, which can create a blizzard to slow enemies. We have just a slowing all in an area. We have a penguin mech that is just a damage dealing tower. We have a snowball, endlessly grows in size. A portion of the experience is converted into base damage. So this tower doesn't gain the usual level up bonuses. Instead, it does something a little strange. Size matters, converts a percentage of this tower's experience to base damage, which is applied to each attack. When this tower hits level 25, all excess experience gained will not add more damage. Okay, and then we have Snowman. Throws snowballs with a chance to momentarily freeze the target. Can encase an enemy in ice, locking them in place for a duration. Then for our darkness towers, we have Black Hole, which we already have on the field. Calamity. Attacks by this tower have a chance to fire a chain, latching onto the nearest enemy and dealing percentage of that attack's damage. And Cosmic Entity. Attacks by this tower are partially converted to pure damage, ignoring armor and damage type entirely. Can remove wave specialties from enemies in targeted area of effect. Its final ability reverses the movement of all enemies for a duration. So some of these towers are pretty girthy in terms of things. Like this costs 285 mana, the tower has 0. So you have to figure out how to get to that value. Now enemies, if we go over here, have armor, they have magic resist, they have debuff resist, they have evasion, they have a slow amount that you put on them. And they have flavor text for each one. And they have the health amount. So you can see what health and stuff like that is there for the enemy. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. And this little message is because the game can be played in co-op. So you can play with your friend. Alright, then we have Altar of Care. Creates a dark sigil on the ground, dealing a percentage of enemies' health per second as long as they're in it. Its second ability provides one nearby tower with bonus attack range. Can eliminate all enemies below a certain health threshold no matter where they are with its final ability. So we'll just go ahead and pop that. And that costs a chunky amount of mana. And then the final darkness tower. Oh, I literally thought this bubble here was the tower. It was the freaking tower itself. Vacuum. Electrical damage dealer. Siphons health from targets and converts it to attack damage. Now, I don't actually know how to sell a tower. How do I sell a tower? Was it J? Yes, it was J. And there is a way to move your towers with K. You press it, you click it. There you go. So you have the tower selected, you press K and just move it. And I think the further you go away, the more it'll cost money. But as long as it's nearby, yeah, there you go. Okay, whenever this tower casts an item or ability, the effectiveness of its current buffs are multiplied. So there's a whole bunch of multiplicative effects in this game and stuff like that. And this is only out of 25 ways, but it gets a little crazy. So I'll do this map and the second map. I won't show the others of the demo, but because it just takes a little while. And I know people might not like tower defense games too much, so we'll try to keep this video a little shorter. Now, challenge waves. I don't know what the point of challenge waves is. They have a lot of health. I don't have a lot of towers because I was just kind of building more towers. I think it's a little better to upgrade towers specifically, and you can also get buffs the enemies drop that permanently increase the stats of your tower. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at making this tower do more damage and stuff like that. We have the ability to give this a buff, which makes it get more money on kill. So this increases attack speed plus 0.2 per level of the tower. Okie dokie. So let's get Vendetta. That'll make this attack. No, maybe we shouldn't. Let's see. What do we want? There we go. We double its attack. And then we'll give it... We'll give our black hole here a special that makes its stuff cost cheaper. There we go. Then we'll give it something else that all nearby towers gain significant percentage mana regen bonus for duration. We'll give that to our penguin mech. So it does to everybody, but there we go. Getting our stuff back. Then we can give it even more regen by popping these little potions on it. There we go. It's becoming a little bit of a beast. This gives base damage bonus. Alright, what else can we give to this? There we go. And then we can get a snowman here, which can freeze this enemy. And then we can give him a energy saver. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the guy gets through. Challenge waves are called challenge waves because they are very difficult. Rolling Dearth. then we'll give this guy one of these as well, so he can increase his mana regen, because this ability is quite expensive. Alright, what else do we have? Gives a nearby negligible, or nearly negligible chance on attack to hit the jackpot, dealing ludicrous pure damage to the receiver and receive a gold prize. I like random chance. Let's do it. And then we have full auto, increases attack speed, has a chance to increase significantly for a short duration. That costs 372. There we go. Oops. Alright, how much damage has this tower done? I don't know. Is there, does it say on here how much damage it's done? So it gains 7.5 of the experience. That's 483. Okay, that's why the attack's not going very fast. There we go. This thing's doing pretty well. Okay, let's take a look at some other towers here. Maybe we'll take a look at light. So this guy deals no attack damage whatsoever, provides nearby towers the mana on attack depending on how much damage the attack would have dealt. Its first ability can shield an enemy, making them invincible to all damage until the shield breaks, but when it does break, it explodes. So let's use that. So it makes this guy invincible, and then he pops and blows up everybody near him. And then once again, he needs a little energy saver, get that reduction, and get some extra mana regen. So then it shows you your best tower and stuff like that, and we had no specialty. Okay, we'll do the second mission, and then we'll try some different towers. I haven't played with the other towers really yet, so I don't know what they do. So we'll learn together. Okay. So you have specialties in the game, like playing with your friend. For the only one available in the demo on this level is Observant. All towers built, passively receive XP at a specific interval. The XP bonus is not modified by XP gain bonuses. Alright, let's take a look at steel towers perhaps this time. Alright, so what do we have in steel? Let me go down here and read it. So we have the arrow tower, a long-range, slow-firing tower with a chance to bash, depending on how far its shots go. Each successive attack on a target increases crit and multi-crit chances. Can fire up to 5 arrows at once at the cost of mana. This tower needs a lot of levels and items to succeed. Make sure you can survive early on. So mana motor uses mana as fuel to increase the speed of nearby towers. Attacks by this tower remove enemy armor but deal no damage. Increases gold bounty of all nearby towers. Okay, so this is a pure support thing. That costs a lot of mana actually. Holy cow. Or money rather. Okay, it said this tower was hard to use at the start. I like challenges. Let's go ahead and build some. So 290 left. We have an artillery we can put here. That also does mines. Alright, we're ready. Ready. And I'm going to do double speed. So we can check the pathing of the enemy. They're going to go up like this. Okay, we'll put the camera here so we can see everything. And then what other towers should we use? Let's try electric towers. I don't know what these do. Let's take a look at the electric towers. Capacitor. Nearby towers receive a portion of their mana cost back upon casting a spell. After refunding enough mana, this tower gains a severe increase to its crit multiplier for duration. Then we have Tesla coils, which is a boss destroyer. Electrocutes enemies by quickly discharging its mana into the target. We have a slot machine. Has a chance to find gold in each attack. Its a second ability allows players to spend gold to play the slots, providing 1 of 4 random outcomes. Then we have a targeting system. Gives all nearby towers advantage to see invisible enemies, increases their crit chance. And then time machine. Slows enemies based on proximity to the tower. Its second ability provides 1 nearby tower with additional mana regen and cooldown reduction. This tower's final ability stops time. Dang, that's an expensive tower too. Let's try the slot machine thing. We'll put it right here. And then we'll try the capacitor. Put it in the middle over here. When nearby towers cast abilities, this tower gives back a percentage of the mana. To give back mana, this tower must have enough mana of its own to cover the amount plus extra. Okay. Dang, this tower's just going nuts on its own. Chance is 7.5 to find 1 gold. Okay. We'll try the Tesla coil. We'll slap it right here. Challenge wave, huh? It'll give a targeting system, all these guys. Those are pretty good. And we unlocked a new faction point for that. I wish there was a better way to put like these UI elements so you could see the waves coming. I'll try to keep the camera here if I can. Let's take a look at wind, perhaps. Let's see. Let me just go over these quickly. Maybe fire. Let's stick with fire. Okay, we have fire elemental creates a ring of fire for enemies to walk through. Interesting. Let's put that here. There we go. That's a fine spot. So this guy needs some big help with his mana. Okay. So let's take some look at for his mana values. Let's give him a energy saver. And let's give him a soul harvester. Let's give our mana battery the generator. You know, give our generator a generator. Or I guess it's a capacitor, not a generator. Different thing. But now this boy here should be fully stocked on mana for the most time. There we go. Yeah, they're getting smoked. Okay. And our steel towers. Okay, so cardboard box fires a tranquilizer that slows enemies over time and puts them to sleep if they're slowed enough. And extract. Okay, so let's try that time machine one next, though. Oh, this one increases the gold bounty of all nearby towers. Let's do this one. What's this do? On cast, buffs a nearby tower with significant bonuses. Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn that on, but I don't have enough mana for it yet. We can give it an energy save, which will reduce it quite heavily. There we go. We can turn it on now. Use it. And then give it this one. Now, will it auto... That's a long cooldown. The question is, will that auto cast now on this tower? I don't know. Gold bonus 12%. That's actually pretty big. And we got another tower typing. We're doing fire. Let's do a fireball tower. Converts percentage of its current mana to magic on attack. Percentage of mana spent by this tower is converted to stacks we can use by its other 2 abilities. Okay. And then we'll give it an energy saver because it seems like the type of tower that needs that. And one of these, soul harvester. There we go. Okay, and let's create a little death row over here. What do we have? Let's create a bunch of these arrow firing towers right here. Okay, who's got the most kills? You got 227 kills. You 37, 36, 45, 5, 124. These are in range of that. Okay, interesting. Okay, we have this. We have our capacitor thing. Let's do that. Let's put down our... trying to remember what that one was under. It was electricity and it was capacitor. Let's put our capacitor down, buff these towers and our steel. Because now they have mana. Let's give... I want to give each of these a soul harvester so they can continuously cast split shot. Let's give this one this. There we go. Look at that big bonus, lordy. Yeah, it gives mana, 75 mana. Wait, does the targeting system actually damage? The targeting system does damage, bro. Okay, can we give this a energy saver soon, maybe? Because I want this to be like constantly active. We need to give it a generator, I think. Challenge wave, okay. Oh, that thing is getting hosed by our electric towers over here. Very nice. You know, I think these need to... I think our capacitor's working out, though. Maybe just give this an energy saver. I don't know if it actually works for it, though. Oh, we got a Gatekeepers artifact. That creates one of those big buffing items. We'll keep that in mind for later. For now, I want to give the rest of these towers one of these. Okay, let's see. And then maybe we give it energy saver. We're almost to the point where the energy saver is just buffing it like crazy. Maybe we just sell this tower, actually, the third one, or the fourth one. There we go. So we only have to worry about a few of these towers. Its mana regen is almost capable of firing split shot indefinitely now. Let's see if we have any more buffing towers. Let's take a look. Provides all nearby towers with a bonus attack range and the ability to only hit enemies with evasion. Sure, that sounds great to me. Provides bonus buff duration on nearby towers and lowers the debuff resistance of enemies. Don't care about that. Cast a mighty cyclone store crown to nearby enemies, slowing and damaging them over time. And then jet. Let's try jet. Dang, that thing needs some. That thing is hungry for mana. Let's give it both of these. Spends mana per attack to give the next attack maximum attack speed. Dang, that goes fast. Dust on cast provides this tower and all nearby with stacks of bonus base damage. Ooh. This thing is hungry for mana, though. Let's just give it way more mana. It attacks that fast? Holy cow. I wish I could see how much damage it's dealt overall, though. That's one stat I really want to see, is how much damage overall it's dealt. Let's give it some more damage, though. There we go. We gave it big boy damage. Okay, is there any items I can give it that give more? Let's see. Kind of just looking over the items here. We had that really expensive item. Ooh, Invigorator sounds cool on this tower. But is this an ability? No, it's passive. Well, I don't know. Would this work on it? I don't know if it works or not, but we're going to find out. Okay, we make an electric tower. Can we get another capacitor? I don't think we'll be able to save money for what comes next. What's that gold bonus bounty? How much kills has this got? It's got 27 kills. How about with this tower? Got 6 kills. 7 kills. 6 kills. Lord, the targeting system's got more kills in it, brother. This thing's putting in work. So many different things. Yeah, everything's doing well. Look at my beautiful babies go. We can turn these on properly, can't we? Oh, these are actually just targeted abilities. Oh, okay. So I actually have to manually target those abilities. Interesting. Okay, that was it. All right, I'll give my thoughts on the game here. Now, it is only the demo, so a lot of these enemies in this demo don't really have like resistances and stuff yet. Maybe they do in the next few waves or something like that. Let me take a peek at this list. So yeah, enemies I think get specialties and stuff on these 2 difficulties. So overall, this game has a lot of mechanics to it. Like of the very, very many power types you can have, along with the co-op play. So you and your friend can make different combinations as well. And then each tower having its own special abilities as well. It's just, there is a lot going for this game in terms of like tower depth, I feel. Granted, there are certain combinations that of course are going to be the most efficient tactic available or meta, But that's with any game you play. No matter what game you play, there's always going to be a meta to it that just is the best way to play the game. But with the item typings and the way you can just increase the tower's attack, their crit chance, because there's a whole bunch of items we didn't even look at. Like there's a whole bunch of crit items in here, like increases the luck of its holder, adding critical hit and trigger chance when marking all of its targets if its attacks hit their mark. And then the enemies have like evasion and resistances and stuff like that. There is a lot to this game. And I'm surprised as a tower defense game, it is not more popular. Maybe that's why it's not more popular, is because maybe it's a bit too detailed. That does always scare people off. Like, for example, I love playing Factorio. I'm not very good at it, but I love playing it. But a lot of my friends that I wanted to like play co-op with them in it did not want to play it because the amount of detail in that game scared them off. Like they're like, hey, this is way too complicated. I'm never going to learn all this. I'm not going to enjoy it. So they just never tried it. I was actually that way too when I first started playing Factorio. But then I started learning it slowly and I'm like, hey, you know, this isn't so bad. And then I spent 100 hours in it. And then I showed that game to my friend who also thought the same thing. I'm like, no, give it another try. And then the dude now has like 3,000 hours in the game. Please send him some help. But this reminds me a lot of that because it seems like there's a lot to unpack at first, but when you really boil it down and just look at like the components and stuff like that, of the small bonuses that you can give stuff into the combinations, once you've used them a few times, you'll pretty much know what each item does. Just like in, say, League of Legends, there's a whole bunch of items. You might only ever use a few of them, although in this one, it does seem like there's a lot more useful items overall. I was just having a lot of fun with the mana towers that were super mana heavy, using these abilities, or using these shop items over here. But I'm just so surprised this game is just not seeing more recognition. 30 reviews for a game that's 3 years old is very few. Now, granted, my channel's not very big, so it's not really going to help the game out too much. And hell, I'm even only playing the demo instead of the full game. I'm definitely adding this game to my purchase list, though, because I would love to actually fiddle around with it a bit. Although I will say, I do wish the game, or I should change my sentence. I do hope the actual game only gives you like plague and fire to start with, for example, or maybe fire and ice to work with, instead of throwing everything at you at once, because that would be very overwhelming with how many different towers there are. So hopefully in the main game and the campaign, it like slowly rolls them out to you so you don't get overwhelmed by how many different tower types there are. And maybe the same with the items. Hopefully it doesn't just give them all to you from the get-go. Or maybe that is his intention. It's just like, hey, here's the game, good luck. I don't know. I don't have the game. I own it on the demo, so I'm not sure about that. But so far, I like what I see. I honestly like what I see. And it does seem like in this map, for example, you have the area to build, so you can funnel the enemy instead of just having a predetermined path. If we look at the next map, we have 3 different enemy paths. My voice cut out there. We have 3 different enemy paths. They're all doing crazy things. But in this one, it is pretty much a good luck. Your only defensive place is here and here. So maybe I should have shown off this map for the gameplay, because I think this would have been a lot more interesting to look at rather than the other one where it was just one path, since this is 3 separate paths. So I probably should have chose this one to show off instead of the other map, because that was a 1-lane map, and 1-lane maps are a little boring to look at for tower defense games. So this would have been way more interesting to look at. So that's my bad. I did a little disservice to the game there. As far as tower defense games go, I don't know how much replayability it would have in that format. It seems like you could just go through the game using different tower typings and experimenting with it. So like, let's say you do one playthrough with, you know, a certain type of towers and you use a different combination the next time. So it seems like it does have a bit of replayability like that. Of the tower defense games I have that have the most replayability, Dungeon Defenders is probably number one. Orcs Must Die is up there as well. Tiny Tactics, honestly, I still have a lot of fun with that game. Usually I get bored with like regular tower defense games pretty quickly, but I'm loving that game. And this seems like it might be that fourth one where it has a bunch of replayability value to it. Oh, Sanctum. I love Sanctum. That's a tower defense game. Sanctum was really good. So yeah, I definitely think this is something you should add to your wish list. It is $20, but it does seem like it has love and care put into it in terms of tower interactions and item interactions with said towers, and the enemies having resistances and a whole bunch of typings and stuff like that. So definitely something add to your wish list if you like tower defense games. The next video I do something on will be of a tower defense game I'm not a big fan of. I don't know why I'm on such a big tower defense kick. I know people, this isn't really their favorite thing, but hey, I'm here to look at games that don't have a lot of reviews. At least for the most part, I'm gonna try to. Because I think that's a good way, a good path going forward, is picking games that are kind of unheard of. And I quite frankly have not heard of this game. And it's been out for 3 years. But like I said earlier in the video, that's probably my own fault because I think I have MOBAs blacklisted. Or ignored. What's the term here on Steam uses? I think it's ignored maybe. I don't know. I just don't play MOBAs because I lose sight of my character in games like that. Like anything that's a MOBA or like a Diablo or Path of Exile, stuff like those, I just have the hardest time finding my character on the screen. I have a bit of blindness in that regards, if you want to call it that, or maybe just, you know, skill issue. But that's why I prefer games where I can kind of just control stuff in big modes or turn-based games and stuff like that. It's a little bit easier in my brain to keep track of what's going on. So this thought section is going on for a long time, but that just kind of shows my interest in the game. And I do think this one would be worth your guys' attention. So take a look at it. If you like tower defense games, definitely check this out. This is a bit of a shorter video than I would normally do, but it's just a demo, so yeah. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think of this game. Do you like this game? Do you think it's interesting? Let me know. Peace.